which seem to have far less to do with the actual problems. This is purely political. No, military was the first, right. Yeah. At the end of the stream, nobody will have channel points left. I mean, that's actually kind of one of the nice things about these, is it allows people to use their channel points in a way which I think really rewards people watching, so I'm happy with it. Okay, so once again, only those with solid evidence will be gone after. However, that only came in with a 66%, rather than the rather more overwhelming 72%. Speed can also be bumped up again. Bureaucracy. It's going to be the same questions over and over again. Even though the CUPU and later the OHF was able to infiltrate all ranks of the Ottoman bureaucracy, many of the higher posts remain inhabited by close associates of the Sultan, HIF appointed candidates or disloyal CUP members who distance themselves from the successor party. Now that it seems clear that Kemal is steadily marching towards the establishment of a dictatorship with him at the helm, an opportunity has presented itself to persecute those people and replace them with men loyal to the Pasha. Both a massive undertaking and one sure to risk the ire of both the Sultan and the Ottoman Parliament, it may be wiser to not act rashly here and wait until the party is entrenched in a stronger way. I think we've established a precedent at this point. Breaking the precedent is bad. I'm finding it interesting to see just how these things are changing, though. So, do we find members of the bureaucracy? Do they need to be purged? Or not? Get your votes in. Vote, vote, vote. Which party is this targeting? It's not a party, it's the bureaucrats. And people appointed by the Sultan. So this is kind of going after the big man himself. So this really is going towards establishing a dictatorship. And the text specifically says, this one's kind of dangerous. You might want to tread carefully. So, vote, vote, vote. Get your votes in. A lot of people are voting in this one. Blimey. Interesting. See, this is why I continued doing them. 50-50. With a margin of 2 votes. So this was saying that all of these bureaucrats appointed by the Sultan are guilty, or we should only go after those with evidence. Magpie contributed 39,000 channel points, so thank you for that, Magpie. And I'm going to go and take a quick look at how much was spent on either side. So 79,000 channel points were spent in the all guilty category, whereas 75,000 were spent in the evidence category. And that extra spending did it. With just 2 votes, we're finding them all guilty. This will be seen as an act of tyranny. We gain political power. This is the only one which doesn't have like a growth in the party or anything. Nope. We are going tyranny. We've gone very lenient, and then we're going to go after the ones who are at the top. The most hard. Civil war incoming. Creation of the International Avant-Garde. A combined effort by the Commune of France and the Union of Britain a few days ago has birthed the International Avant-Garde, a program that aims to create a unified art style for art and a genre for music, as well as new literary techniques, each of them encouraged to be socialist, unorthodox, anti-traditionalist, and anti-religious. Northern Snowcat coming in with a 14-month resubscription. Thank you very much for that, Northern Snowcat. Very much appreciate the ongoing support there. Norway has joined the Third International. Republican victory in Brazil. While certainly not an unexpected result, confirmation has reached us that the Republican Party will stay in power in Brazil, as it has since the start of the new republic. In 1927, the new president of the Republic, Getulio Vargas, will be sworn in January, but he's already promised to deal with firm hand against the economical issues plaguing the country and also promises to do better for the common man of Brazil in his victory speech. As the Pasha remains unwilling to listen to reason and the megalomania of his plans continues to know no boundaries, the moderates of the party under Ali Fut Pasha have decided to break off and form an independent party, calling themselves the Democratic Party, to show their aversion to the authoritarian moves by their former leader. The clique is rapidly growing in size unless the government paralysed, causing it to fall due to a lack of majority in the Ottoman parliament. Intervening in the situation and relieved that an opportunity has presented itself to stop his Grand Vizier from bringing the whole nation down, Abdülmecid has dismissed the Pasha and parliament until a new upcoming elections. Social liberals and market liberals go up. Ataturk's gone. You guys got rid of Ataturk. Whoops. Yeah, whoops. USA. Oh dear. The Xinjiang clique took one state. Kumal Khanate have been annexed. Kumal Khanate has capitulated. The Kumalik government has gone into exile and the main forces have capitulated to the Xinjiang clique, who is now in control of the home area. Although the struggles between the Xinjiang clique and the Kumal Khanate are over, Xinjiang clique continues to fight on. Blah 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 blah. The Empire celebrates Eid al-Fitr. Today is the first day of Ramadan by Rami, or the festival of the breaking the fast. After fasting for a month during Ramadan, all of Islam is celebrating this joyous occasion. Sorry, Ramazan, not Ramadan. In most households, the men attend morning prayers in the mosque. Then they come home to find a lavish breakfast prepared. It's also customary to eat either dates or some sweets before attending the prayers. For many households, this is the first breakfast served after sunrise in the last 30 days. The younger people in the household, sons, daughters, grandchildren, traditionally kiss the hand of the elders, and the elders present them with a gift. The gifts are usually money or gold coins wrapped in handkerchiefs. The 3 days of celebration are organised in a hierarchical manner. The first day is reserved for family members. It's a tradition for the younger ones to visit and pay respects to the elders. Then the more distant family and neighbours must be visited. This is a time for hugs and kisses. It's also a time for broken hearts to be mended. If there are people who have had an argument, Eid is considered a time to make peace. Another famous part of the festivities includes the sweet taste of Turkish delight. These treats are offered to guests who visit as well as to the neighbourhood children who run from door to door expecting candy or cash. In addition, Ramadan's famous drummers visit neighbourhoods in the morning. It is customary for the residents of the street to tip the drummer for his service throughout the month. Collapse of the Persian Gulf economy. Reports have reached the Wali and Basra that several of the Persian Gulf states have been hit especially hard during the economic depression in Europe, and that this has caused shockwaves in their entire social structure. Many of these states, such as Dubai, are almost entirely dependent on the pearl fishing industry and have the European continent as the main markets. With the rise in the popularity of the cheaper Japanese substitutes, the market received its first hit during the 20s, but the conflict between the states and the Middle European bloc ensured a steady demand for the Gulf. Now that this demand has almost overnight evaporated, the entire industry is on the brink of collapse. Whilst this is unfortunate for the Arabs of the region, this catastrophe has forced them closer to the Ottoman state and our internal market. Upon the request of several sheikhs and emirs, the TPC, the Turkish Petroleum Company, has opened talks to discuss the possibility of oil exploration along the coast and to expand its operations in the Gulf. Unrest will decrease in Basra but goes up in Bahrain, Qatar and Abu Dhabi. One man's loss is another man's gain. So we can now do the OHF membership reward program, which gains us a bunch of stability actually. Or we extend authority over the Kurds, which will piss them off but gain us some building slots. Well, I think that the OHF membership program sounds like a good idea. I mean, that additional stability might come in handy. Grasping back our predecessor, the CUP, politics has become something not solely decided by the Privy Council, but a true mass movement. Whilst it means that we no longer have to pay lip service to a few select upper-class notables, we still need to adapt our program to the needs of the support base, or, if one doesn't exist, create one ourselves through carefully placed notables. And we actually have enough political power to change some stuff, but I don't think I want to do that. We can also increase the Ottoman gendarmerie in the Kurdish states. which will significantly decrease their resistance. And also integrate them by 5%. It's expensive. But keeping the Kurds on side I think would be a really good idea. So we're going to drop 100 points into that one. Hey, Vincent. How's it going, Mordred? Still fighting COVID-19? Well, I hope you're winning that fight. I'm sure you are. Otherwise, yeah, I'm good. Isolation hasn't really caused me any problems. I'm quite happy to do it. Just means more streaming. Italian democracy survives. After many months of terrorist acts by the ANI, it rocked the Italian Republic and caused many within the nation to doubt the government's ability to maintain order. A vote of no confidence was held in Milan today. If passed, many feared it would signal the Republic's collapse. By the narrow list of margins, the motion was defeated, and the Prime Minister Giovanni Gronchi has announced from the steps of the government buildings that democracy in Italy had survived its greatest challenge, and the Republic would live on. Been in your house for 4 weeks and still got it. Man, that sucks. Increasing unrest in Bahrain. Prompted by increased interest in the Persian government in the affairs of the Shia majority island of the coast of Al-Haza, there's been a noted increase in the anti-Ottoman and anti-Sunni sentiment. Further coupled by the pearl trade catastrophe and a weak response of the Sheikh to the decreasing living standards of its population, the island's been rocked by a wave of protests calling for the reform and equal representation. More disturbing than the Persian overtures, however, is the increase in radio sets tuned into Radio Free Cairo, spreading Arab nationalist propaganda and calling on the Arab people to throw off the Turkish yoke. How can they have radios? We don't have radios. The East Turkestani government has gone into exile. The main forces have capitulated the Xinjiang clique. Persia seizes Hengam Island. Although Hengam Island, just south of the Persian coast, on paper belongs to the Persian state, the island is de facto ruled by the Sheikh Ahmed bin Obald bin Juma, the father-in-law of the Sheikh of Dubai. As part of the shift in foreign policy to take a more assertive and anti-Ottoman stance, the government in Tehran has decided to push their luck in the Strait of Hormuz. Earlier this week, the Sheikh and his entourage were expelled from the island, sent packing to their family in Dubai, and a customs post was installed, proudly waving a Persian flag. Whilst a diplomatic objection has been made by the government against the Persian aggression, there have thus far been no plans to escalate the small border conflict to any further punitive actions. In Dubai, however, outrage against the move by Tehran has led to many to question the capacity of the Ottoman government to defend the interests of the Gulf and their sheikh for so easily submitting to the Persian ploys. Let us hope the Persian beast has been satisfied. (1937) emergency elections caused by the fall of the OHF government. The various peoples of the empire have once more been called to the ballots to decide the future of the eternal state. Torn apart by internal divides, the OHF seems primed to deliver a massive defeat, as many voters are likely to jump ship over to the new DP. Nonetheless, the HIF has also been polling well, as many of the elite fear the DP is just another wolf in sheep's clothes. So we are now social liberal. With market liberals being third. OHF is still second, but significantly behind the HIF. What some may have seen coming over since their close victory in 1935 has today become a reality. The OHF party, the Turkish nationalists and the CEP remnants have been thoroughly defeated and the coalition shattered. Now we must pick up where the Liberal Entente left off in 1934 and repair all that has been torn down. The first matter of the day, however, is already a very precarious one. However, as even though the OHF coalition is no longer the majority, we aren't as unified of a front as we would have liked to be. And the choice of Grand Vizier is a hotly contested discussion subject amongst the various party leaders. Prince Sabahattin, leader of the largest party, the HIF, seems set to take his position with his programme of full decentralisation, his bold initiative to reinvent the Ottoman Empire. Shakib Arslan from Mount Lebanon region seems to be his main opponent, with a focus on Islamic solidarity, morality and the return of the old. And a return to the old. The Druge prince, better known as Amir al-Bayan, Prince of Eloquence, has captivated the minds and the hearts of many prominent Arab families, and seems to have the support of the religious establishment, with some even going so far as to have an ear within the palace. As these two squabble for the position, however, many are turning eyes to the DF, whose support during the First Liberal Coalition was instrumental for its success. The relatively young party, founded by the ex-general Kazim Karabekir Pasha, nonetheless has seen its election results explode, with every election as the promise of a middle way between the hardline OHF and the liberal Entente is finding a large support amongst the Turkish middle class, whilst the general's personal record can count on the support of many former and present soldiers. Changes national focus tree to liberal Entente. Oh, that's completely changed us. So we can join the Entente of the Reichspakt. This is a far less neutral tree. We have to start again. We can't actually do any of this because we're not in economic depression anymore. We fixed the balance. We fixed the... Oh, it's bypass. Okay, it is bypassable. That's the important thing. Cool. And then that leads down to there. So we can still do the Ottoman army. Renovate the Sublime Port. Would require more than 124 deputies supporting us. Wait, did we? Did we just bypass the war? Oh no, these are now occupied states as opposed to cores. Okay, so... resistance is now traditional resistance. Whoa, that's a lot of bad blood. Bloody hell. And we have no government at the moment. But that should change. Oh, yeah, we no longer have the... Oh no, that just removes the economic depression. We didn't have any bonuses from that. So it looks like we can actually go a little bit deeper into economic stuff now. Although we didn't actually take a look at all at how things would change from there. But we do have our liberal economy. Manpower hasn't really changed. There is now a massive shortage of guns for all of the resistance we're going to be dealing with. I think we've got to cancel these. Yeah. Huge shortages. But we did just sink another 4,000 guns into the economy, so hopefully that will be enough to make up the differences. Interesting. Okay, so the vizier thing may well change depending on who we bring into power. Right now we can do the Ottoman army stuff, or these. So we can loosen economic restrictions. which gives us cheaper military to civilian conversion. Fuel per oil goes down, fuel capacity goes down, military factory construction goes down, civilian factory construction goes up. Research slot, straight away. And we can also go to free trade for free. We currently export, so it's not a huge step. Well, let's get the research slot. Although the Ottoman Empire boasts a fair selection of institutes for higher learning, there is a severe lack of technical expertise in the realm, which has severely complicated the industrialization of the empire. To solve this, the government has proposed to open the Imperial Institute for Technology in Constantinople, in close cooperation with the academics from Austria and Germany. Mili Izmiet. Himeli is gone. I don't remember what that one did. Kazim Karabekir returns from Armenia. Serving as the wali of the Armenian Vilayet since 1935, former Brigadier General and Weld Creek hero Kazim Karabekir Pasha has returned to the capital to participate in the coalition talks currently ongoing. His party, the Democratic Party, has once again seen a significant increase in seats and a rising star within the empire. Many expect he will do a bid for the position of Grand Vizier. Arriving through Hydrapasa station on the eastern side of the Bosporus, the man was escorted directly to Dolmabahce Palace for an audience with Sultan Abdülhamid II. With a program serving as the middle ground between the older and many aristocratic HIF and the authoritarian OHF, it seems likely the Sultan will at least seriously consider the man who has in the past already stood close to the palace. Market Liberals goes up, and we get Conservatives flack to Prince Sabahattin's banner. Conservatives flock in. Social Liberal and Social Conservative goes up even further. Coalition talks seem to be progressing at a satisfactory fashion as Prince Sabahattin seems well underway to form an acceptable coalition to oppose the centralists. With a programme focusing on severe decentralisation with most of the governing shifted to the provincial assemblies, many of the minorities and the Arabs are showing their support for his ideas. Nonetheless, many Conservatives remain opposed, as whilst they believe that the programme of the OHF is borderline heresy and a disaster for the Ottoman state, they remain opposed to complete decentralisation, as they fear that this would have a negative effect on Islam and the position of the Sultan Caliph. Decentralisation will mean lots and lots of puppets. Sultan Abdülmecid II appoints the next Grand Vizier. As decreed by the Ottoman constitution, the final decision remains in the hands of the Sultan Caliph, and as such, many are wondering what was going on between the palace walls. After thorough discussion with all the candidates and meeting with his advisors, the Sultan has today affirmed the next Grand Vizier as Prince Sabahattin. Add modifier parliamentary support for every 20 deputies in the Meclis-e Mubashan supporting our coalition. The modifier will be increased. Okay, so Sabahattin Effendi has a massive boost to civilian construction speed, massive penalty to military and political power gain, a naive optimist. His foreign minister is a grand compromiser who gives political power increase and also trade deal, which is fine. We have a balanced budget advocate, daily political power gain, construction speed and production efficiency. That's a pretty good combo. In fact, I think these guys are the same. It's just the Prime Minister that's changed. With the government of Prince Sabahattin firmly appointed, the newly elected representatives have taken up their seats in the Chamber of Deputies. After short speeches by the Sultan and the Grand Vizier, the floor was ceremonially opened. Issues started to come up almost immediately, however, as deputies from the OHF attacked all points of the new Vizier's speech and called for his entire programme a disgrace to the sublime state and therefore the world. Ah, democracy. So, this has now been opened. I think we'll finish the research slot. That does seem to make a lot of sense. Ah, and here we go. This is how you get the deputies. Oh, was that the operative slots that we lost? It was. Okay. So we lost our secret police. However, when we reform the gendarmerie, we'll gain another operative slot. And this one's actually a lot stronger. Political power gain and resistance growth reduction, rather than operative cost, which is always kind of a non-factor. Every owned state, unrest will decrease. Massive boost in social liberalism. However, we do get bloated bureaucracy. Ah, and here we go. The assembly. So the OHF is still dominant, but we should be able to fairly radically switch that. Coalition talks with the DF. Whilst we may have won the elections, we do not have the majority required to form a stable government. To solve this issue, we must open negotiations with the other winner, the DF of Kazim Karabekir. I think that's probably a good idea. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. I do hope you're enjoying this. If you are, be sure to hit that follow button so you get notifications when I'm live again in the future. If you're really enjoying this, then please do consider subscribing. Helps the channel out, lets me do more of this kind of content. Or you can, of course, check out the Patreon, which you can find at patreon.com/MordredViking. I do have a YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.com/MordredViking, where this series will almost certainly be uploaded. There is currently the Heart of Iron 4 Old World Blues Lone Star series, so if you missed that one, you can find that one there, plus a whole bunch of other things, including the Ottomans as they used to be. So if you are interested in comparing and contrasting the old Ottoman system to this Ottoman system, you can find that over on the YubTubs. Then finally, I do have a Discord, which is where the community hangs out. They're a very cool bunch, and it's always a pleasure to see some new faces over there. So come, join us, say hello. You'd be more than welcome. Shagoth, thank you very much for the follow. Nutztero, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Right, I am going to go and see who else is streaming at the moment. And we'll go and throw them a raid. That could be interesting. We're going to go and raid Uldra Hill, who is currently playing as the dreaded usurpers Byzantium. So we need to come up with something for this raid, which will be against Byzantium. What should we say? Down with the false empire. So we're going to head on over and say down with the false empire, just like that. So copy and paste down with the false empire, and we will hit him with this. Istanbul, not Constantinople. Ah, too late. I've already decided. So down with the false empire. Because I think that is actually called Constantinople in Kaiserreich as well. So, down with the false empire, copy and paste that, and when we head over, I want to see his chat lit up with that. Let's make our Ottoman presence well and truly known. So, thanks everyone for watching. I will be back again. It's still called Constantinople. We'll be back again in 1 hour, 10 PM this evening for part 2 of this stream. So, thanks everyone for watching. I will see you then. Until then, see you later.